So the Genesis Part 1 creature vote has begun, and with it we have our top 10 creature finalists chosen by you. So in today's video I'm going to go through them and putting them on a tier list of what I think of the creatures. Now I won't be mentioning the creature's abilities since those abilities may or may not be in the final result. I'll be ranking the creatures based on if they fit well on the map, if it's something we haven't had or something we haven't gotten in a while, and what the creature's being submitted as. For an example, the Shadowsaurus was submitted as a living submarine, and that's what we got. So with that all out of the way, let's talk about the finalists for Ark Genesis Part 1 creature vote, starting in the C tier. So the first and only creature I have in the C tier is Irritator. This creature is being suggested as being able to help knockout teams, whether they are a standard knockout or they are a more unique knockout team like the Carcanos. This all sounds good on paper and is something that I would be interested in seeing in the game. The thing that puts this creature lower on the list is that it's a theropod creature. I'm just kind of tired of seeing these creatures keep getting added into the game, and since the Mega Raptor was the last winner for the creature vote, I'm just not really interested in this one. Besides, we have plenty more theropods on their way from the Ark Editions mod port, so I don't think any theropod creatures are needed for any future votes. The only thing that makes the Irritator not lower on the list is that the fact is part of the Spinosaurus family, and we only have a very few of them in Ark. I'm still just currently not interested in this creature, but hey, if you want something from that family, remember that the Suchomimus will most likely be ported into the base game or become a mod. Moving on to B tier, the first creature I have is the Romiliosaurus. This creature being submitted as a speedy tank with whirlpool abilities against its opponents. I think this creature design looks very cool and I think it is very neat. However, it's just a creature I'm just currently really not looking for when it comes to adding a creature for Genesis Part 1. The last creature I have for B tier is the Giant Lobster, the healing creature for both land and water. Now, I do like this creature. I believe I had it pretty high up in the creature vote for the center. However, for Genesis Part 1, I'm just not feeling it for it as the same way as I did for the center. Sure, it would be pretty good, especially have a support creature for the mortar boss fight, but it's just not giving the Genesis Part 1 vibes for me. Moving on to A tier, the first creature I have is the Savadus, another support creature being somewhat a water version of the Shadowsaurus in a way. Gaining blood from dealing damage to creatures, giving its allies a boosted damage, or being able to heal. This creature would be really cool to see added in the game, and we are definitely lacking when it comes to the prehistoric shark department. With it also being a support creature, it can be really useful against the mortar boss fight. I like this creature a lot, and I see the good potential it would have if this creature got voted into the game. The last creature I have for A tier is the Paleoctopus. This creature was in the Aberration vote and is back to show off its potion making skills, being able to craft potions that either aid you or your teams or use against your enemies. I'm definitely glad to see this guy make a return. I like the potion making concept for it being suggested as, and it's also something we really don't have in Ark, and that is an octopus. The only reason why I don't think this creature is an S tier is that I think the rest of the creatures in the S tier have a slight edge, or a bigger edge in my opinion, than the Paleoctopus. The first creature I have for S tier is the Abyssosaurus. This creature would be a large aquatic team, being between a Mosa and Plesiosaur, and would be able to have some kind of hypnotic abilities. This creature as a design is probably my favorite from the creatures since we really don't have anything in Ark that belongs in the deep dark oceans like this guy does. Now we do have to always remember when it comes to the creature designs, they won't 100% make into the base game. Take an example, Rhiniolantha's submission, Rhiniolantha we have now. But if this creature were to want, I really hope it does keep its deep sea design and makes the ocean just a bit more scarier. The next creature I have is the Abadotantis. I have no idea if I said that name creature right, if I'm going to be honest. We'll call it Atto for now. This creature would be a very good mobility tank, being able to go in the water while also be able to run across the surface of the water, and also having a headbutt attack, be able to stun creatures in this way. Just like the Abyssosaurus, I do really like this creature's design. It doesn't really look like a dinosaur, but more like some kind of mythical beast that's rumored to live in some kind of lake. The next creature in S tier is the Giant Stick Bug, a returning creature from the last creature vote, and one I absolutely love. Mainly for the fact that we'll get a new bug, and I'm always down for that, but also a herbivore. Something we don't have at all in Ark is a herbivore insect, which is strange since we have a decent amount of bugs in Ark. But this creature will also give some other teams more usage, like the giant bee and the Archaeopteryx. Also, while this creature is given the option to spawn in the other biomes, I think making this creature only spawn in the bog would make sense, since for that biome it has many giant trees that the giant stick bug can roam around. The next creature I have is a Thule Monstrum. This creature will be found in the lunar biome, helping out scout around the biome, launching onto creatures or be able to gather resources. I think what makes this creature an S tier for me is how creative it is. Making a creature who would be in an aquatic tame into a space environment isn't really easy, but I think how the Thule Monstrum looks, it does it well, especially how alien looking this creature is, and I could see this thing soaring across the stars. Last but not least is the only shoulder tame question mark, didn't really say in the concept, is a Crinoid. This creature, when I first saw it, I knew how to make it up in the S tier. I mean, look how insane it is. This creature will be found in the lunar biome and would help survivors in any of the other biome for his ability to travel across the biomes while also be able to keep the survivor warm and cold when need be. I really just like the design of this creature, and it's also something we really don't have in Ark, that being a starfish, believe it or not. But those are my rankings for the Ark Genesis Part 1 creature vote, and what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? But let me know down in the comments, what creature do you want to see win this vote? I would love to hear. But that's right for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button and you are all to the channel. Hitting that subscribe button will definitely be appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, and have a good one.